talk about transitioning from being a full-time employee and going back to school. For me, it was law school. I'm Irnise. I am a nurse and a lawyer. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video if you like this type of content, educational, career, talk about everything here on this channel, from healthcare and the law, as well as business and, of course, some lifestyle. I love to share my background because it is something that is extremely unique and a lot of people haven't really heard about before. A nurse becoming a lawyer, what that experience is like. And so I love to share that type of insight so that people can see that as an opportunity for them, or at least get some of their questions answered before they make that big of an investment. So I went to law school 3 years into my nursing career. I had been working as a nurse for 3 years, and I decided I wanted to go back to school. And finally, after doing tons of research and really looking at all the options of secondary or advanced education, I decided to go to law school over getting a public health master's in public health, which was my other choice. I didn't consider getting an MBA until I was already in law school, and at that time I was so over law school that wasn't even an option for me, but I really wish that I had gotten an MBA. But I'll say this, the biggest challenge with going to law school specifically, as someone who worked full time, is that you now typically in most full-time programs have to quit your job. And if you aren't financially prepared for that, you could find yourself in a situation where you are taking out extreme amounts of loans, where you are not able to live the life and the lifestyle that you're used to, that you find yourself just struggling trying to get back to where you were because you already had a full-time salary, and now these internships are paying nothing to maybe $15 or $20, and that can be extremely difficult as well. I thought at one point that I was going to be able to work once a week or like stay on PRN, and I could have, but I was so overwhelmed in the beginning that I decided that it wasn't worth it. And that was kind of one of the mistakes I made, that if I would have stayed on as PRN, that in the summer when I was working my internships, I could have added extra hours later. But the whirlwind of the first semester of law school is so intense that, and the pressure of them telling you that you need to quit your job or that you shouldn't be working, and you signing documents that you shouldn't be working, kind of makes you feel guilty for even trying to bring in income. At the time, it was just me. I had a boyfriend who is not my husband. I didn't have any kids. And so, honestly, I lucked up because I had some help from my partner, who was actually like new. Like, we had just started dating when I went to law school, and he was like, "Oh, I'll help you." And I was like, that's kind of crazy, but okay, I'll take it. And it kind of worked out, but there was still a lot of stress. And finances in law school is a huge reason why a lot of people end up, breaking up with their partners, on top of all the other stress and the, attention that you can no longer give them. But also it's the financial impact as well. And once you graduate from law school, again, trying to get back into the swing of a full-time job and, getting back to where you were before you went into school. And so I know that there are people who regret going to law school because they never got back to where they were before, right? They were making so much money before they went to law school. Becoming a lawyer didn't necessarily enhance their career financially. And then there are people like me who have kind of stayed in my original profession. Like, I stayed working as a nurse until 2021 because nursing gave me a balance. It gave me more money than a lot of the legal jobs that I was going after. And that was very difficult for me as well. So when I talk about my journey, it's extremely non-traditional. I definitely made a lot of mistakes, and I will definitely do a video on all of the mistakes I've made and advice that I would give to someone. Like, someone reached out in my alumni group about job opportunities and what they should do. And my advice to them is going to be, take whatever you can until you figure out where you want to go. Because the hardest thing to do is to convince people that the delay in getting a job had nothing to do with you and everything to do with you just trying to find the right place. Like, they want you to be building skills and building your resume immediately, even if it means taking a job that may not be what you thought you were going to be able to get. So that transition, again, from working full time to being a law school student to now having to take out more student loans. I took out student loans for undergrad, so taking out more student loans, depending on the student loans, for my bills, books, and everything in between. And then being able to recuperate from that, I think, was extremely difficult. And so if you are in that situation where you're working full time and you're considering going to law school, definitely look at non-traditional programs, those night programs, part-time programs, partially online, anything that will allow you to continue your career, because the financial impact of law school is so great. It is so expensive. And I think that when you lose your financial footing and support as a law student, right? You go from working full time to becoming a student, you also lose out on your therapy benefits. You also lose on all the things that you could afford that made you happy, that made you who you are, and that it was also difficult. But the people who come from undergrad and straight into law school, they never had any of that, so that is not something that they necessarily miss or that they feel like they're lacking. Versus people who had all of that and have to let that go, the getting your hair done, the getting your nails done, just the little things. And so I encourage you to create a plan. I am not always great with planning. I am do it and figure it out later, which is not always great, right? I end up dealing with the consequences later. But I really do encourage you guys to consider creating a financial plan before you go to law school, so that either you have saved up enough money to kind of float you through those tough times, or that you have some type of plan in place that you can navigate post law school, or like at least in the summers or the winters, where you can go back and get a job and continue to make some type of money, because it is so expensive. So when I graduated from law school, I didn't have a job. I have never had a full-time job as a lawyer outside of my own practice. I've worked and partnered and, done projects as a lawyer over the last few years. And then, of course, over the last 7, I've been building my own law firm and working full-time in my own law firm for the last 4 years. And that is extremely difficult as well, right? That's not something that's easy. And so if you're considering that route, that's even more money that you have to get the business started, to wait for the first set of clientele, to get paid, and all of those kind of things. So I will definitely do an advice video, what I would tell new law students, those who are at different levels and different points of their law school journey, but also those who are postgraduate and are looking for opportunities, and then those of us who've been out there for a long time. So look forward to those types of videos coming as well. I'll make sure they're all in a playlist, so that if you're interested in that type of content or information, you can find it all there. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I talk about everything between healthcare and the law, as well as business, and of course, my own career advice as a nurse and as a lawyer. I have tons of experience as a nurse and lots of newer experience in the last few years as a lawyer. And so I have so much to share, and I can't wait to continue to share that with you. Again, hit that notification bell so you can hear about future posts, and check out the playlist of other videos that you may have missed that may answer some of the questions that you may have. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. So give me all you got right now.